It's been a while since we reviewed a piece of computer accessory, but today we're going to take a look at the brand new Roccat Vulcan 2 Max. Hey folks, Tony Hannity's here with Lazy Tech TV, and before we move on, make sure you consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and we also stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/LazyTechTony. And yes, we are going to take a look at a keyboard, and while we're probably not the keyboard aficionado expert that we would like to be, this keyboard is something that I feel all of you should really take a look at, especially if you're a gamer. Now, first off, right out of the gate, I want to say thank you to Roccat in Turtle Beach for sending this keyboard out to us, but this is not a sponsored post. These are just my opinions and feelings on the matter, but again, thank you very much, Roccat. Out of the box, one thing that struck me as odd is that this keyboard requires two USB Type-A connection. So if your computer only has one available, you're gonna need to use some sort of, I don't know, hub or something. I mean, that's what I ended up using. I don't know what happens if you only plug in one of the connections. Maybe the keyboard still works and the lights don't work. I don't know. I didn't want to try it. I figured it out. If you can figure it out, just get a hub. But anyways, past that, it's pretty standard visually speaking. You've got two positions. It is a beautiful matte black, so it's not going to attract too much like fingerprints and whatnot. And it's colorful. I mean, that is the number one thing about this keyboard, is that no matter what brand you might lean toward, whether it's Roccat or somebody else, this is a very, very colorful keyboard right out of the gate. And with the included software that you can download for free from the Roccat website, you can customize all of that. So if you have a preference of if it pulses from the middle, or if you want to do, I don't know, like a snake game, or have it, go between two different colors like purple or red, the color of our Discord server, for example, link in the description. Those are things that you can do through the software. But what makes this different from all the other keyboards out there is that this actually has two LEDs underneath each keycap. Normally you get one. So why does this need two? Well, it really has to do with that software and the function capability. If you press function on the keyboard and like an F6 or F7, you'll have extended capabilities and extended macros that you wouldn't normally get. Now, I'm a console gamer through and through, and I'll be the first to admit that. So I don't normally use the function keys and macros on a keyboard like the rest of you people that might play on PC. But because you can customize it to your liking, I'll use it in other software like Premiere or After Effects, even Audacity. But for those of you who are going to use this for games, you can set up different profiles so you don't have any overlap. One profile for shooters, another for sims, and maybe a third for strategy games. And yes, this takes full advantage of AIMO, Rockat's technology, similar to like Razer Connect or Razer Synapse, whatever Razer calls their thing, or Elgato's thing, where they can synchronize all the RGB and LED lights. This has that ability as well too, and it does work with other third-party software. I have the wallpaper engine from Steam, and this works with that as well too. So I could have my wallpaper extended through to my keyboard if I wanted to. But how is the typing? How is the clickety-clack? How does that sound comparative to, other keyboards? Well, while I realize other keyboards you can switch the switches out for something either louder or quieter, I'm looking at this solely from a consumer who might not want to go through all of that. So the Titan switches that come with the Vulcan 2 Max are, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being super, super quiet and 10 being super, super loud, I'd say they're about a 5.5, 6. They're not that loud. They're quieter than the Razer keyboard that I had previously, which is nice. I'm getting to the age where I don't necessarily need all the clacks, but I do like to have that audible feedback every now and then. And with the software, if you want, you can even turn on this audible feature where every time you hit a key, you'll get an audible sound coming from the computer as well too. Kind of like when you are typing on your mobile phone and you hear that audible feedback. Not something that I want, but if you want it, you can do that. But how's the travel on this? Well, it did take a little bit getting used to. These do feel a little bit more raised up than normal. And when I was typing away and testing it out, there were a few times where I would hit the adjacent key when I didn't want to. And again, this is a standard full-size keyboard. All the keys are pretty, standard comparative to other keys on other keyboards, and I never really had that trouble. I did hear, and maybe it's muscle memory, maybe it's just getting used to a new thing, but it was something that I had noticed that I was misspelling way more than I do on a normal basis. These lights are very smart, and it does take power and a processor to, power all of that. And there's actually a 32-bit ARM Cortex chipset inside this keyboard to do all of that for you. So maybe that's why you need 2 USB ports going into the computer. Again, I don't know, but that's probably why. And the last glaring thing that I'll say about this keyboard is that it does look kind of weird to some. I really do like the raised look where the keys almost look like they're floating above the keyboard, but upon closer inspection, it might look unfinished to others. One thing that I'm not a big fan of is the space bar. Now, I get it. I understand why it's all utilitarian, but it still looks, kind of ugly. There's the main switch underneath the middle of the space bar, but then there's the supports on either side that are just these black supports. Again, I get it, because without the supports, the space bar would be all wonky, but it's right there. Like, you have to look at it, and it's just kind of staring back at you in these ugly columns for a reason, but they're still ugly columns. I'd say the thing that wins it over is if you use the included wrist pad. It's a very cool translucent grippy wrist pad that has connections to go under the keyboard, and then the RGB lights kind of flood through the wrist pad. It's a beautiful, beautiful kind of effect that they've added there. So it does have a little bit of merit there, but it's still, there's those support beams. I'm just not a fan. And yes, all the keycaps are 100% customizable. So even if you have third-party keycaps that you prefer to use with these Titan switches, you can do that. Roccat thought of almost everything for you. So if you are looking for a full-sized RGB keyboard with optical switches, the Roccat Vulcan 2 Max might be a really, really good option for you. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave that in the comment section down below. Links, as always, can be found in the description below. As I said before, we do stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/LazyTechTony. I do put gaming clips on YouTube on my personal channel. I'll link that in the description below as well too. And if you want to find out more about the Vulcan 2 Max, we'll have that linked as well too. We have a podcast, we have a Discord server, we have a bunch of other things going on here at our studio. So please check it out, take a look, pop on by, let us know where you came from, how you found us, and we'd love to talk with you soon. So until the next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Late.